Hey, I'm Kenneth Wajda. I'm a professional photographer here in Colorado. Welcome to another one of my photo chats. So, it's easy to go from nothing to something. It's not that difficult to go from something to good. Give a kid a clarinet in the beginning of September, and by Christmas, they're playing in the Christmas assembly. What do they call those? The Christmas recital. And they're playing the clarinet. They're playing "Oh Christmas Tree." They're not necessarily great, but they're good. They can play. They can play the notes. To go from good to great, that's challenging. That takes lots of effort. That takes lots of practice. And to go from great to being paid for it, to be at the level where you're playing in the top symphony, that's really difficult. That takes constant practice. That takes constant dedication. And that analogy can be made for photographers too. You have to just work at it. The only way to do it is to get and work and work. And you can say all these cameras can do everything for you. They really can't. A camera needs to be set. If the camera reads the light wrong, it will make things either too light or too dark, or it just might use it too slow of a shutter because it sees it's dark and everything blurs. You have to know how to set a camera. And you can't say that the camera does it all. It doesn't. And no matter what, going from good to great and great to exceptional and pro, that's a big step. And it only comes with time. I just photographed the Symphony. And the reason I bring up the Symphony example is because I photographed the Symphony. There was a friend of mine who hired me to photograph the band, the Symphony, and some Native American drummers who were going to be playing along with a 1923 Western movie, one of the first Westerns ever made, called The Covered Wagon. And they were going to be recording the music in real time while the film was being screened. And he was going to make a video of the making of this whole production. And he needed me to go make still photos. So I brought a few cameras. I mostly used a Nikon D750 with a 17 to 35 zoom lens, which is one of my favorite ultra wides. And I used a 105. And with those two lenses, I can do a lot. I can almost do anything. That's what I used on that shoot. I think I put the 28-1.8 on for a few shots in low light, but really everything was done with that 17 to 35, and which is a 2.8, and the 105 2.8 macro lens. And the fact it's a macro lens is extra nice because I could get really, really close to anything I wanted to. I knew it could still get focus. But I photographed people who were playing at the level of great. They're being paid to play for the Boulder Symphony. They're working and their precision is so good. And my goal was I need to make photographs that are that good. I need to make photographs that depict all the members, show the story, show the filmmakers, document the whole scene. I'm a storyteller. I need wide shots and close-ups. I need variety. I need an establishing shot. So I did that as a client job, and for me, I put myself in that same place of I need to go to great when I make these photos. These photos can't just be what anybody else could make with their phone, and they're not. These photos are well composed. I had access to the whole stage and behind the stage in rehearsal, so I was able to photograph some of the rehearsal and get photos where I could go places that I would not be able to go during the actual recording. And sometimes great photography is access. If you want to make great photos, the first thing I'll always ask you is, if you say, I want to make great photos, I say, what can you photograph? Where can you go? What can you do that I can't do? What can you get access to? Can you shoot from the sidelines of the football game in the NFL? You've got better access than I do today to go shoot football. Can you go up into the FAA tower at the Philadelphia Airport and photograph from the airport tower, you've got access that I don't have. That's a better, you can do more when you have access to things that are things most people don't have. The more exclusive something is, the better it is for, hey, look where I'm at. Years ago, I did a photo series in a turbine of an electrical plant. The guy who was the manager who runs that giant energy plant that fuels a whole big portion of Denver, he was showing how they have to do periodic checks. They have to shut everything down. They have to climb inside of them. And I went inside of it and I photographed it. And access made that photograph possible. You have to get access. I'll find those photos. I'll put them in the show notes. Access is what makes things possible. So work to get it. How can you find the right thing that will make a great story, but then find a way to photograph it at the top of your game? There's no such thing as I don't have the right lens. There's no such thing as I don't have enough light. Bring light. Everything is in your control. And when you have that control, you make it great. All right, that's today's Photography Talk. If you're enjoying these, hit the subscribe button. If you could support, hit the Patreon. Thanks to all my supporters. I appreciate you. I'll be back next time, and we'll talk more photography. As always, here's the good light.